Hello to all astrology lovers. In this video, we will talk about the full moon in Taurus, which will take place on November 15th, 2024 at 11:28 p.m. We are expecting a full moon in Taurus at the 24th degree. This full moon, of course, has its own features, one of which is the presence of retrograde Uranus in Taurus, just 1 degree away from the moon, with Uranus at 25-26 degrees. Moreover, the moment of the full moon presents a rather ambiguous picture in the sky with some interesting aspects, but let's examine everything in order. First, let me remind you what a full moon is. Of course, it is a quite powerful astrological event when the moon is in opposition to the sun and reaches its full phase, symbolizing a certain culmination, completion, and the release of accumulated energies over a certain period of time. At the level of our lives, this is a time when we can gain sudden clarity about the situation, the revelation of some hidden aspects of life, inner revelations or intensified emotions. The full moon is always a rather emotional event for us, and often the full moon reveals what previously seemed unnoticed to us, what remained unnoticed. Of course, it can push us towards certain decisions that relate to both personal and professional spheres, the completion of various projects and the ending of relationships that no longer serve our tasks and life goals. And of course, during this time, certain tensions may increase, emotions may intensify, conflicts may arise, and there may be a need to reassess some of our internal beliefs, intentions, and desires. Moreover, the energy of the full moon emphasizes the balance of the spheres of life, which are defined by the houses of the horoscope and the zodiac signs. It is the full moon that demands from us the harmonization of some sphere of life between something and something to make a choice. Between something and something to harmonize, for example, personal life and career, or our needs and the needs of those around us. And in order to work with the energies of the full moon, to ground these energies, it is very important to be in a conscious state and to consciously control our emotional reactions, because I remind you, the moon is primarily our subconscious, and here the subconscious can give us impulsive actions, impulsive reactions, and of course we need to find balance during this period between what needs to be released and what needs to be completed or transformed. Various practices such as meditation, gratitude, letting go of all the old and unnecessary, and clearing spaces help us greatly during this period. Reevaluating and prioritizing our goals and desires in life allows us to ground the energy of the full moon and gain clarity. Now let's discuss the influence of the zodiac sign on this full moon, which is in Taurus. Of course, the zodiac sign imposes its filter on the energies of this astrological event. And the full moon in Taurus emphasizes themes of stability, comfort, material abundance in our lives, and inner peace. Taurus is an earth sign. It symbolizes stability, resources, and values. And the full moon here raises questions related specifically to financial well-being, a sense of security and harmony in everyday life, meaning this is a period when we can identify our true needs for stability and security. It is a time when we can uncover certain material and emotional attachments that need to be released and eradicated, which hinder our development. Of course, the influence of Taurus makes the energies of the full moon quite slow but very powerful, capable of creating situations that require our patience and rational approach. And here questions may arise related to financial investments, real estate, and caring for our bodies, because the body is also physical and tangible. Or there arises a need to create a cozy space where we live. And the emotions raised by the full moon in Taurus are linked to the feeling of comfort and stability. We may feel the need to get rid of what hinders us. We can realize this in life. The symbolic Taurus is our second house in the horoscope. And of course, it's all about finances, resources, and personal financial resources. It's about material goods and values, our relationship with the material world, the ability to earn and manage money, the desire for comfort and security. By the way, the second house also corresponds to our self-esteem and the value we bring to this world, our skills, abilities, and some inner qualities. All of this is activated by the full moon in Taurus, these themes. Nevertheless, we also have the ruler of this full moon, which is Venus. Venus is the planet of love, harmony, beauty, and the pleasures of material values in our lives. It governs how we express our feelings, how we form our attachments, how we seek and find joy in life, revealing our tastes, aesthetics, and relationship to comfort. It is responsible for how we interact in personal or business relationships. Additionally, of course, it's about money, financial preferences, and the manner in which we enjoy the blessings of life, sometimes even questions of luxury, art, and beauty. All of this is Venus. Venus is currently transiting through the Earth sign of Capricorn, activating themes and energies of stability, maturity, and responsibility, especially in the realm of personal relationships and values. During this period, qualities such as seriousness and dedication are emphasized, along with some structure and organization, and all of this manifests in romantic, business, or friendly connections. Venus in Capricorn seeks reliability and security. During this period, we may particularly reflect on the durability and long-term nature of our relationships or financial investments. When Venus is transiting through the zodiac sign of Capricorn, values shift towards pragmatism and quality. Our material expenditures become more thoughtful and are aimed at acquiring more sustainable and useful items. In relationships, for example, there may be a transition to a more serious level or a complete ending of relationships that do not satisfy us. This involves establishing clear boundaries and expectations. Capricorn is generally associated with career and social status. Venus here can stimulate an additional desire to achieve success specifically in professional activities, to create a solid reputation, and to build harmonious business connections. Now let's consider the symbolism of the degrees of Taurus, where this full moon occurs. The 24th degree of Taurus is a symbol, an image represented in the form of a fiercely galloping Indian warrior who has human scalps on his belt. Such an interesting picture. And the key, the interpretation of this symbol, lies in the fact that we exhibit some aggression of our instincts when fighting for a certain earthly basis of action, for a physical and tangible manifestation of something in our lives. And in mythology in early America, the Indian represents a savage who is closely connected to nature, lives with nature, and remains somewhat subject to, guided by primary human instincts. In the present time, the manifestation of these instincts can sometimes occur and lead to some violence. That is, our awareness may be turned off here and only instincts are at work. And the symbol implies a certain cruelty and aggressiveness as the foundation of human nature. At the level of emotions, at the level of a certain culture, that is, this degree demonstrates to us that even in our modern civilized time, we can believe that instincts and attachments defined in our culture can generate some violence and conflict. and we can emotionally believe that violence is capable of protecting our values and our identity. This is demonstrated to us by the 24th degree. But if we return to the new moon in Taurus in May 2024, it occurred at the 18th degree of the sign, and the symbol of this degree shows us the image of a woman who is hanging her old bag out of the open window of her room. Such a picture. And here the key to the interpretation is that one needs to cleanse their ego consciousness. That is, indeed, considering that the symbol presents us with a woman, it strongly emphasizes this bag and the need to cleanse one's consciousness and truly to free one's mind from old attachments and illusions. This cleansing of perception creates space for a deeper and higher level of awareness in our development, our inner harmony. It gives us the opportunity to go beyond our limitations and achieve new spiritual growth. Thus, we can observe the trend of our development through certain experiences. And by the way, I remind you that to understand in which area of life this occurs, you need to know in which house of the horoscope the full moon in Taurus is happening for you. So if we combine the information of these degrees, we can see a very deep connection between the cleansing of the inner world and our struggle for survival and cultural differences. That is, here, it emphasizes to us the importance of working with internal conflicts and internal limitations, the necessity of cleansing, the necessity of transforming our perception. And here, it is necessary to come to the realization and liberation from selfish attachments in order to avoid destructive manifestations of our aggression and violence in relationships, and instead to rise to a higher level, harmony and balance in any interactions. That very balance I mentioned at the beginning about how the full moon works as an astrological aspect of our lives and harmonizes a specific area of life. Keep in mind that the waning moon will affect us until December 1st, 2024, inclusive, and some concluding processes will unfold precisely during these 2 weeks when we will need to either finish something or achieve a result, see the outcome. We look again at the houses of the horoscope where the full moon occurs. We close the period from May 8th to November 15th, 2024, and by the way, if you made any notes of plans, intentions, tasks, or goals during the new moon in Taurus on May 8th, now is the time to return to those notes and outline what has been achieved. Now let's look at some key aspects in the sky that are active at the moment of the full moon, aside from the transit of Venus. So the first thing I mentioned is the retrograde Uranus in Taurus, which is directly involved in this full moon with a difference of 1 degree, adding elements of surprise, changes, and some internal upheavals to this event. Uranus is the planet of revolution, the planet of innovation, and in its retro phase, it directs its energy inward. It makes us reconsider our old beliefs, ideas, and approaches. And when Uranus is also in Taurus, it touches upon the themes of material values, security, and familiar structures. Retrograde motion pushes us towards a deeper analysis and reassessment of these aspects. The full moon in Taurus is a culmination in matters of the material world, values, and stability. It is associated with the completion of cycles, where it is necessary to put aside some outdated beliefs and approaches regarding finances, resources, and comfort. This process of transformation becomes more internal, more conscious, simply because Uranus is retrograde. And of course, it can provoke unexpected discoveries, insights, and revelations about our own attachments to the material and how these attachments limit our personal growth and freedom. And the main influence of the aspect will manifest in the fact that we may face the necessity some changes in our financial stability regarding property security. Moreover, there may be very sharp unexpected changes that can be unpleasant at the moment, and we may not be ready for them. But over time, we understand and realize that they play to our advantage. Another participant in this astrological event is the star Algol, and let's take a look at its characteristics. By the way, it is located 1 degree away from Uranus. In ancient Greek mythology, it is represented and known as the head of a demon or the devil's star. Quite a creepy sound. Nevertheless, this star is associated with dark and dangerous energies. And it certainly has special significance in both mythology and astrology. It is Algol that is associated with the myth of Medusa Gorgon because it is located in the constellation Perseus, where the head of the Medusa is. And the myths claim that Perseus fought with the Medusa and cut off her head, which then it became a source of death for those who looked at it. And Algol symbolizes these destructive forces. They are associated with violence, death, and demonic powers. In turn, in astrology, Algol is attributed with a strong influence that is associated with pronounced negative traits. That is, it is a star of violence, fear, destruction, and great personal trials. And there may be moments when we face crises, especially regarding issues of power, control, cruelty, and violence. At the same time, Algol can provide us with powerful transformations precisely through these crises, through insights, and allows us to free ourselves from the past. That is, it gives us the opportunity to be reborn. The energy of this star represents certain extremes. That is, as I said, it is about destruction and mortality, but also about purification through struggle and transformation. Algol is indeed a catalyst for personal crises when we confront those parts of ourselves that we would prefer to ignore. Algol symbolizes forces that can manifest through aggression, influence, manipulation, and cruelty. And if we approach this consciously, then at some point these forces can be transformed into something more powerful and aware. Naturally, to work through the energies of this star's action, it is essential to engage in conscious acceptance of the dark aspects of one's life, of one's sides. One's personality should use crises only for growth through any means: therapy, self-discovery, various activities that allow one to free themselves from old traumas. And of course, acceptance of power is important. That is, Algol is connected to the theme of power and authority. Here it is crucial to learn to use these qualities constructively rather than destructively. In the comments, please share how this aspect with Uranus and Algol plays out for you. In relation to the moon during the full moon in Taurus, I would also be very interested to see how it manifests in your life. Another aspect that is important to consider at the moment of the full moon is that the moon is in a trine with Pluto, which will soon finally transition into a Dahlia just 4 days after the full moon. And this trine activates very deep processes of transformation in our emotional sphere, providing a very powerful influence on stability and the inner resources of each of us. The aspect contributes to such a deep transformation of personal values, emotional attachments, and a sense of lawlessness. And all of this may manifest through the need to reassess what brings us stability and comfort. And of course, this will bring certain changes in our material and emotional aspects. The trine of Pluto with the moon helps us work through old emotional traumas and fears, opening the way to healthier and more constructive experiences and living our lives. This is a time when we can radically change our approach to our own emotions. We can learn to let go of some old attachments and strengthen ourselves from within. Our inner resources In personal relationships, especially in family or close connections, there may arise a desire to understand each other more deeply, to uncover some hidden emotional needs. And all of this will, of course, contribute to the harmonization of relationships over time through awareness and gradual personal growth. At the same time, the Sun is in Scorpio and is in a trine with retrograde Neptune in Pisces during the full moon. This aspect activates strong intuitive creative flows. It promotes our deep inner experiences and processes of self-discovery. That is, the aspect enhances the ability to perceive hidden truths, to intuitive understanding, and to penetrate some mystical aspects of our lives. Neptune's influence, of course, can blur the boundaries of reality, prompting us to seek in the spiritual realm. And the Sun in Scorpio focuses on hidden motives and the transformations of our personal power. Retrograde Neptune, this period can contribute to rethinking some past misconceptions of ideals, giving us a chance to heal emotional wounds, get rid of certain internal illusions, and the aspect can also create situations where we turn more and more to our creative side. We cleanse ourselves more from old energetic blocks. In relationships, by the way, there may be moments of deeper understanding of each other, specifically on an intuitive level. And here it is important to avoid idealization and endowing the partner with unrealistic expectations. Another significant aspect at the time of the full moon is the aspect related to Venus, the ruler of this full moon, which is in a T-square with the Coyote karmic node. The disharmonious aspect, however, contains quite a strong potential, creating a tense dynamic aimed at rethinking personal relationships, values, and the balance between personal independence and partnership. Venus in Capricorn focuses attention on serious pragmatic relationships and material aspects. Love can make us think about the stability of our connections and their long-term nature. However, the square with the nodes forces us to pay attention to the lessons related to our individuality and harmony in relationships with others. Conflicts may arise here between personal independence and the need for compromises with partners. During this period, situations may arise where one must choose between following personal interests and the desire to maintain independence or preserving balance and harmony in relationships. The T-square stimulates the need for growth and taking responsibility for one's feelings and actions. It encourages us to make active changes in personal relationships. They provide such a radical overhaul of the approach to love and partnership, so it is important to catch these energies, learn to balance personal ambitions and the needs of those around us, and avoid excessive compromises that may suppress our personal freedom. Now, let's consider the influence of the full moon in Taurus for each of the 12 zodiac signs, how it will manifest in your life, and in which areas and directions to look, what to complete, where we will see clarity and culmination. Dear Cancers, the full moon in Taurus is in your 11th house of the horoscope. Here, situations of completion and clarification related to your social contacts, connections, and collective goals come to the forefront for you. In general, the full moon in the 11th house activates important aspects of your social life, including friendships, participation in groups, communities, and connections with colleagues, like-minded individuals, or sponsors. This is a time when you will feel the need to complete or reassess relationships with certain friends or teams, structures that no longer serve your personal goals. It is possible that now, dear Cancers, you realize that it is time to cleanse your social circle, keeping only those relationships that bring support and inspiration. The theme of ideals and your future will come to the forefront here. And the 11th house is responsible for big dreams in life. In fact, and here you can reassess your plans and perhaps adjust them. Changes in social roles will occur, creating situations where you may decide to withdraw from some public activities that do not align with your values or life priorities. Some collective projects, activities, initiatives, charity, or public endeavors may come to an end and a certain process will be completed. Here you can summarize the interactions and collaboration with other people. It is a very good time to identify certain trends and either conclude or elevate any social interactions to a new level. To work with the energy of the full moon in Taurus in your 11th house, pay attention to rethinking your social connections and friendships. Be sure to close your old projects, some initiatives, and complete any collective activities. Be sure to pay attention to adjusting your life goals and your life plans. Work specifically from the perspective of spirituality with your ideals and dreams. And that is, all topics of the 11th house require attention. Be sure to give it to these areas of life. This way, you will be able to use this energy to your advantage. I wish you success. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Bye.